essential message is that life can be mastered, that life, that we're here for a purpose, and that the human being has a deep spiritual nature, and we'll find that that's our true birthright. And as we grow up, as we mature, we fully come into that.
Please watch on to find out more. In today's program, we will continue our discussions with Dr. Hugh McCague, a noble sharer of the sacred knowledge from AMORC, the ancient and mystical order Rosae Crucis, and find out more about the belief system of the Rosicrucians and their message for the world. Dr. McCague is a renowned mathematician and art historian. He received his bachelor degree in mathematics from the University of Waterloo, and his Master of Arts degree and PhD concentrating on medieval art and architectural history from York University in Toronto. Dr. McCague works as a statistician at York University. His research and publications have concentrated on the interrelationships and underlying unity of art, mathematics, and the sacred. He recently received the Trevor Evans Award from the Mathematical Association of America for an article on this topic. Dr. McCague has been active as a student, officer, and presenter in the Rosicrucian Order, AMORC, and the Traditional Martinis Order, TMO, for many years. The Rosicrucian movement is a mystical fraternity which by necessity operated in secret for much of its existence. It claims that its roots originated in ancient Egypt, from the time of Pharaoh Thutmose III, who organized the first esoteric school of initiates founded upon principles similar to those perpetuated today. For Rosicrucians, vegetarianism is considered a very important part of the evolution of the individual and is justified on scientific, occult, and ethical terms. Though not a statutory requirement, many Rosicrucians follow a vegetarian or vegan diet as their conscience develops and when they have broader experiences with their consciousness. Dr. McCague has kindly listed some renowned Rosicrucians in the past and present who are vegetarians or vegans.
I can tell you some of the renowned persons of history that are vegan and vegetarians or Rosicrucians. We go back, I mentioned Pythagoras and the Pythagoreans, that was very strong on that. A contemporary of the Master Jesus, who was a Pythagorean and very deeply knowledgeable of spirit traditions of the world. And there's a beautiful story of him traveling to India and various parts of the world on a spiritual quest. Apollonius of Tyana, vegetarian. There's also Leonardo da Vinci, was a vegetarian and Rosicrucian. He's also a good example of a Rosicrucian because he had very broad-based abilities. He was a master in many areas in the arts and the sciences and engineering. But it was through his initiation, the Rosicrucian tradition was the idea was the mastery of life was back of it. You can see in his notebooks, you know, he's very spiritually oriented and guided vegetarian. A major figure on this continent and the development of the new republic to the south of the United States, Benjamin Franklin. He's a vegetarian as well. Those are people who are Rosicrucians that felt very strongly about it. I'm vegetarian myself as well. So it's something we're very receptive to and quite common that Rosicrucians are.
We applaud the compassionate and wise choice of the Rosicrucians to adopt a peace-loving vegetarian or vegan diet. This choice is consistent with their beliefs and the ideals they uphold. Every belief system in this world supports an honorable way of life, and the central message to be delivered to all human beings.
Well, there's a variety of ways to approach that. You know, earlier I mentioned about the Fama Fraternitatis. There were certain manifestos that were in the early 17th century. And then starting in 2001 and going to 2016, there was 3 more manifestos were issued. The message is that life can be mastered, that life, that we're here for a purpose, and that the human being has a deep spiritual nature, and we'll find that that's our true birthright. And as we grow up, as we mature, we fully come into that. And we refer to what we often call the master within, or the God within, or the inner self, to learn to have a continual rapport, or an increasing rapport with that. That'll guide us in a perfect way through life. And our conscience is part of our guide in that. And that is something that is our birthright for everyone. And that can be developed. It's not just someone in a while they're really great, they're great how spiritual understanding. I don't think I can do that. We're all called to that. And the Rosicrucian order doesn't, as I say, doesn't impose doctrine, but one that it suggests to its students is reincarnation in human life form, and that over time we have lots of time to learn. There's this long-term perspective on this, but that capacity to attune with the God within, or the master within, and that'll guide us in life. That's the central message.
Let's take a moment to admire the beautiful roses in the garden. We'll be right back after these short messages. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back, generous viewers. It's wonderful to learn about the noble ideals of the Rosicrucians, how to tune in with the God or the Master within to guide us in life. The Rosicrucians believe that it's not only possible, but essential to personally know through direct experience the source of all beings, that is God. There are multiple practical ways for one to manifest an awakening from the intellect to a mystical consciousness or enlightenment.
Certainly the order is very strong on practical application, being very down to earth and very lofty at the same time. I know many of the spiritual mentors that I had through the Rosicrucian order, that I was very struck by how they lived their everyday lives in a very orderly, systematic way, but they had a very inspiring philosophy back of that. With the weekly lessons, there's always there's suggestions in them to how to apply them. So things like visualization, there's something you want to bring into your life, maybe a better condition for one's family, a new work, some improved relationships in one's life. You can visualize that and follow through on it. You have to have the responsibility to follow through. There's many things to do with I mentioned about the contact healing and the metaphysical aid. The world is always in great need of that. And often you may hear of someone in the news or through friends you can send the aid to, also for healing of oneself. There's various things that are taught through the order how to do that.
No matter what you need to do, there are various Rosicrucian laws and principles that can be applied. With systematic learning and proper preparation of the mind and the body, people are able to enter into a deep connection with their original source. There's
the meditation, that can be used for general enlightenment. Yes. That's always helpful. You know, like a little spiritual uplift can carry us for days. Yes. In terms of what we do, and gives that extra energy and buoyancy and sense of well-being. But you can take a question into meditation, clear. You can have a simple, clear one that you can't. But it needs to be one that one can't look up in an encyclopedia or go to finding books, or you can think through yourself. If it's something where all the facts and knowledge isn't generally available, through our inner self, we have contact with all knowledge, all wisdom. But you can have that question, particularly if it can be simple, clear, and it's some emotional energy, it's important to you. Hold that in meditation, even briefly, then release it. In meditation, an idea or principle, inspiration may come forward, or later in the day, or you may be guided to something. You can do that on a continual basis. Also, we call the law of cosmic attunement. that we can attune deeper within our mind. The human in some ways is like a very deep instrument, and with tremendous ranges of vibrations in us, that we can reach to those different vibrations just like a musician can on a violin or a cello. We can learn to reach those, to that law of cosmic attunement, to bring things into our understanding. So there's many laws like that can be applied very practically. In a certain sense, system and order in our physical life, in our emotional life, our intellectual life, and our spiritual life, though that in itself will give us a great sense of stability and well-being, and also allow us to attune with God much more easily.
We sincerely thank Dr. McCague for giving his precious time and sharing with us about the traditions and current practices of the Rosicrucian order.